The Steadfast Tin Soldier by Hans Christian Andersen, illustrated by Fred Marcillono.
I am chubby.
Here it is. It looks like it was a Christmas gift from someone. Now here we go. Also, Danny, move your head over a little. You'll see something up there. Who's that?
Chippy.
Chippy's up there, yep. Okay, so here we go. Once upon a time, there were 25 tin soldiers. 25 tin soldiers, there they are. And they were all brothers, for they had been made out of the same old tin spoon. Can you grab me a pillow, please? The very first thing they ever heard was tin soldiers, so cried the little boy who opened the box. And they came in. He clapped for joy and immediately started setting them up on the table. They are made of spoons, huh? They all stood at attention in splendid red and blue uniforms. Rifles on shoulders, each exactly like the others, except for one. This soldier had only one leg. He was the last to be cast, and the tin had run out, but he stood as steadily on his single leg as the others did on two. And all of them, he was the one destined for greatness. Let's see the one destined for greatness. There he is. You see one leg only? Point to the one leg, sweet Dee. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
There were a good many toys on the table. The most impressive among them, a handsome cardboard castle. You could see its elegant rooms through the windows. In front of the castle was a glimmering lake, a piece of mince, actually, surrounded by little trees. There were even wax swans floating on the lake. Admiring their reflections, it made a charming scene. Yet the most enchanting thing of all was the girl standing at the castle doorway. She was only made of paper, but her dress was fluffy gauze, and she wore a narrow blue sash held in place by a shiny spangle as big as her face. Her arms were outstretched, for she was a dancer, and one of her legs was lifted so high behind her that the tin soldier couldn't see it at all. It looked to him as if she, too, had only one leg. What a perfect wife she would make for me, he thought. But she might be too grand. She's used to a castle. It would be hard to ask her to move into a box with me and my 24 brothers. Still, I wish I could get to know her. There was a snuff box on the table. From behind it, the tin soldier had an excellent view of the lovely dancer, who kept standing on one leg without ever losing her balance. Later that evening, all the other tin soldiers were put back in the box, and the people who lived in the house went to bed. It was then that the toys began to play. Here I'm going to show a picture of the dancer. Sweet Bee, there's the dancer right up on top of the stairs, right?
There.
Yep. Okay, hey Danny, come on and look at the pictures. Not just look at yourself over there, comedian. They threw parties, they fought battles and danced. The tin soldiers rattled in their box, eager to join the festivities, but they couldn't get the lid off. The nutcracker turned somersaults, a piece of chalk squeaked on a slate. They all made such a racket that the canary woke up and started chattering away, in verse no less. The only ones who stayed quite still were the tin soldier and the little dancer. She remained balanced on the tip of her toe with her arm stretched out. He was just as steadfast on his single leg, and his eyes never left her for a second. All of a sudden, when the clock was striking midnight, the lid flew out the snuff box, and bang! And out sprang a goblin. The snuff box wasn't a snuff box at all. It was a jack-in-the-box. There's the jack-in-the-box. All of a sudden, when the clock... Oh, tin soldier, cried the goblin, keep your eyes to yourself. But the tin soldier pretended not to hear. Just wait till tomorrow, the goblin said. When the morning came, the children got up, and the tin soldier was set on the windowsill. Before long, a gust of wind, or was it the goblin, blew open the window, and the tin soldier tumbled out. It was a terrible fall, 3 stories to the street below. The poor soldier landed headfirst, the bayonet stuck between 2 paving stones, his leg in the air. So here he is on the window. There he is stuck on the pavement. Danny, can you show me where he is stuck? It's hard to see, kind of. Stuck on the pavement. Right next to the lamp over there.
What?
Ding! Boing! Yep. The little boy and the housemaid rushed down to the street to look for him. They came so close they nearly stepped on him. If the soldier had just called out, "Here I am," they would have spotted him. But he was in uniform and didn't think it proper to shut. They had to give up the hunt when it started to rain. The drops fell thicker and thicker. Soon it was a downpour. Once the rainstorm was over, a couple of street urchins came strolling by. "Hey, a tin soldier," one of them said. "Let's see what kind of sailor he makes." So they folded some newspaper in a boat, put the tin soldier on board, and sent him off down the gutter. The rain had swollen the gutter stream, and the boys ran alongside the fierce current, clapping their hands as the boat tossed and turned and twirled. The tin soldier was getting seasick, but he remained steadfast, eyes front, his rifle on his side. So there he was stuck, and there he's rushing down the gutter.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of funny looking, isn't it? Would you send him down the gutter? What would you do with them? Keep them. Suddenly the boat was swept under a long plank covering the gutter, and everything went black. Now what? The soldier wondered. This is as dark as inside our box with the lid on, and it's all that goblin's fault. If only the young lady were with me, then I wouldn't care if it was twice as dark. Just at that moment, out popped a huge water rat who lived under the plank. "You have to pay the toll," the rat declared. "Hand it over." But the tin soldier said nothing. He just held his rifle tighter. The boat rushed on, and the rat raced after him, gnashing its teeth furiously. "Stop him!" the rat screeched to the twigs and straw. He hasn't paid the toll." The current was picking up speed, and the tin soldier saw a patch of daylight up ahead. But he also heard a roar that would have chilled the heart of the most courageous hero. The end of the plank was at the end of the gutter. There the water poured down into the great canal. Going over the edge would be like going over a tremendous waterfall. So there he is. There's the rat, and you can kind of see the waterfall in the distance. Uh-oh, what's going to happen to him? It was too late to stop. The current hurled the boat over the brink. Yet even then, the tin soldier remained at attention. No one could ever accuse him of flinching, not for 1 second. He fell into the river, it looks like. In the canal, the boat whirled around and around until it filled with water. It was doomed. Once the poor tin soldier was up to his neck, the newspaper began to fall apart under his foot. As the water closed over his head, he thought of the lovely dancer he would never see again, and an old barrack song rang in his ears. "Brave soldier, never fear, even though your death is near." The boat broke to pieces, and down he went. No doubt he would have sunk in the mud at the bottom of the canal if a fish hadn't swum up by and just swallowed him up. Fish swallowed him. Inside the fish was the darkest place yet, even worse than under the plank. What's more, there's hardly air to breathe. But the tin soldier lay steadfast as ever, his rifle still on his shoulder. All at once, the fish began to twist and turn in the most terrifying way. Finally, it grew perfectly still. What seemed like a streak of lightning flashed, then it was broad daylight. The tin soldier, someone cried. The fish had been caught, taken to market, sold, brought to a kitchen where the cook had sliced it open with a big gleaming knife. After clearing dinner, the housemaid picked the soldier up by the waist and took him into the living room. The whole family crowded around to see the remarkable fellow who had been on the voyage in the belly of a fish. The tin soldier wasn't the least proud of himself. What an astonishing place the world was. For here he stood, back on the same table as before, surrounded by the same children as before, including the castle, with the lovely dancer in the doorway and the same toys. The dancer was still balanced on one leg, the other still held high. She too was steadfast. The tin soldier was so touched that he would have shed in tears if he hadn't been in a uniform. As it was, he just looked at her. She looked at him, neither of them saying a word. Suddenly, for no apparent reason, one of the boys picked up the tin soldier and tossed him into the stove. The goblin must have put him in up to it. The tin soldier stood in the flames. The heat was intense, but he wasn't really sure what it came from, the fire or his love. And though his brilliant uniform was worn and faded, whether this was due to a journey or his sorrow, no one could say. He looked up at the dancer. She looked back at him. Even as he began to melt, she remained steadfast, standing as straight as possible with his rifle on his shoulder. A door opened. A gust of wind caught the paper dancer, and she flew like a swift straight to the tin soldier's side. Oh, there she is flying through the air. That's crazy. Never heard of such a story. She burst into a blaze and was gone. He melted down into the lump. This is kind of a sad story, isn't it?
It's funny.
The next day, when the housemaid emptied the ashes, she found a tin soldier in the shape of a heart. Of the lovely dancer, all that remained was her spangle, and was burned as black as coal. Oh, what a precious ending.
It's a bad ending.
The Steadfast Tin Soldier, read by Danny and Daddy. Fireside Stories.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ha! Wait, I have to put on my glasses.
See you next time.
No, don't do it.
You got double pair of glasses today, huh? 2.
Yeah.
Oh, these are some slick glasses. You're ready for carpentry and the sun.
Yeah.
Pretty cool dude over here, huh?
Oh, yeah.
See you. Bye-bye.
See ya.